So this is the final recording of the PE lesson plan for EDTP 2303. This is for my soccer lesson plan that I work on this semester, and I'm going to be combining the introduction and activity for this one. So after students finish their warm-up, they'll circle the coach. This is where the coach will ask students what they know about soccer, any basics or any techniques they've learned. This will be a point where you can have students discuss and learn from each other about what they're doing. And then the coach or assistant will then model how to sort of control a ball. Uh, they'll show sort of where to hit the ball on the foot to control it. So right along here, they'll show how to receive and pass the ball with a soft light touch. This is on the cues. The example you could tell students is keeping a dog on a short leash is easier than keeping a dog on a long leash, meaning that if you touch the ball softly, you'll be able to control it, keep it close to your body, so students may be able to relate to that. After teaching them how to do sort of the basics of controlling a ball, this coach or assistant will put out a grid of around 30 feet. You can see that, sort of marking out with cones, 30 by 30 feet, so students can sort of dribble around the area and learn how to sort of control and get that experience. A challenge for them is, instead of looking down at their feet to look at the ball and what they're doing, have them look up and ahead of them. This will sort of, if students have a grip on what they're doing, this will be a nice challenge to sort of get that awareness, situational awareness. And during the activity, teachers should position themselves on the edges so they can view. Instead of stop individual kids, have all the kids stop at intervals and sort of correct as a group, so kids aren't being called out and sort of embarrassed about their sort of lack of getting it. The main activity is called Soccer Knockout. Involves the same 30 by 30 grid shown here. The goal is for a student to protect their soccer ball while attempting to kick another student's soccer ball out of the area. So depending on the size of the class, you can make the area smaller or bigger, or divide into two areas if you want, just for sort of controlling the area that kids are working with. So while dribbling, if a student's ball is kicked out by another student's ball, they have to go out of the grid and retrieve it and do either 5 jumping jacks or burpees or some other form of physical activity before re-entering. If once that student's ball is kicked out, make sure you're monitoring the student's actions on doing like burpees, jumping jacks, push-ups, what they're doing, to make sure they're doing them correctly. Also be watching out for kids inside. Kids have to have control of their ball before trying to kick another person's ball out, so if the ball's not within sort of their personal bubble and they're sort of running across to kick some other friend's ball out of their way, that's not really the point, so make sure you correct on that. Before this, make sure kids are taught the basics on guarding a soccer ball, so shifting your body direction and blocking people out using your body. You can use your TA or assistant to help teach that sort of model for the students. The next part of the activity is called steal the ball. This is where 1/3 of the students put up their ball to the side, and it's sort of like a Red Rover sort of game where 2/3 have the ball inside, and the remaining third of the students have to go steal that ball from those students. So they'll go at a walk, jog, or slight run when dribbling the ball, and once the students are moving around, release the other third to go try to steal the ball. Make sure the kids are doing this safely and not just barreling people. Make sure that they're not being overly aggressive. That can probably get out of hand after a few minutes, so make sure to blow a whistle, calm everyone down, take a breath, correct any improper behavior before moving on. Once the ball is kicked out, the stealer then gets to be the dribbler with the ball, and the kid who previously had the ball has to go out and do 20 jumping jacks, or wait 30 seconds before re-entering to give that other kid a chance to practice their skills.